Welcome back. Today I'm going to be drawing Peter Rabbit. So let's get started. I'm first going to start with the eye shapes, which are going to be about here in this area. And I'm going to start with a kind of a pointed curved line at the tip, rounded at the top, and bringing it back down. And then I'm going to move over slightly to about here, leaving a little space in between. Similar shape, pointed, starting with the point at the bottom, curved line all the way up and around, and then bringing it in back at that point. Okay, rounded line in about halfway in that shape on both of those eyes, and then we can just go ahead and fill in that rounded curved line area there. Okay, dropping down slightly in the center, we're just going to make kind of this kind of U shape or kind of V shape here, and then dropping slightly below that, we're going to make another kind of more angled V shape that drops down right below it and a little larger, and then a little line there for the mouth shape. And we're going to round out the actual shape for the whole head here, starting alongside this eye, coming slightly out, and then we're going to slant this line out, round it at the corner here, bring it along the bottom, just below this line we made, and then rounding it out to the other side. So you want to stay about even with how far we came out over here, and bring it out on this side like this, bringing it back up toward the eye. And then we're going to stop about here, and we're going to start to make the shape for the ear. So I'm going to come all the way out slightly, curve it up to a rounded point, bringing it back down, wider toward the kind of the center of the ear, back in toward the top of the head. We'll add a little curved line in between to separate the ears, and then bringing a line slightly diagonal up, diagonal as it bends here, the curved point area, bring it back down, a little wavy out toward the center area, and then we're gonna kind of taper it back in toward the head, and we'll meet it right back where we started. Okay, let's make a little inner detail shape for the ear, which is just gonna kind of be this bent line that comes down and then back up. Same thing on this side, but we're going to do it the opposite way. So starting on the outside here, down toward the head, and then back up toward the tip of the ear. We leave a little space. We don't have to go all the way up there. Okay, coming down here, and we're going to start to make the neck, which is going to start right about here, one line there. And now I'm going to make the arm shape, because the arm is going to be in front of the body. So I'm going to start here with a rounded curved line, comes a little further down, and now I'm going to make a line that tapers in slightly and comes out, rounded toward the bottom, and then curve it up and in. We'll bring a curved diagonal in across, and then a little fold line here. We can come back and add the closing line here. Let's add the shape for the hand, which is going to be kind of this just curved, almost oval shape here that fits perfectly inside the cuff of the jacket. All right, bringing another line up to complete the inside of the jacket. And now let's work on the other arm. So I'm going to start here, coming down with this line very similar to here. This one we don't see all of the arm because Peter Rabbit's kind of turned to the side, so I'm coming down. I'm going to stop here and make a little fold line in here, rounded toward the bottom here, bring it back up and in. Let's make this curved diagonal in for the cuff, and then a little fold line right there. This is where we'll add the shape for the hand. Again, it's this kind of rounded, oblong zigzag at the tip here for the fur, and then bringing it back in. So it's kind of like this circular shape here. bring another line up diagonally in from starting from the kind of the end of the hand here, or the beginning of the hand, and up toward the face. Okay, continuing down, if we were to make an implied line through, continuing here, rounds out, curves back up here, and then back up toward the elbow. Let's continue that on the other side. Again, out diagonally, curves across, and then again, just kind of meet it. If this is the implied line for the jacket, it kind of meets it about there. Okay, let's continue to create the rest of the body here. So I'm going to start about here, bring a line slightly out, and then in. So it's kind of like this bent line, and then straight across the bottom. And I'm making a little wavy line just to indicate some fur. So it looks like it has some texture. Coming back up toward the jacket area, right about here, and we'll add a line that comes out, and then bent in. All right, let's come down here and make some oval shapes for the feet. Half oval shapes. And then I'm going to add a little shadow area in here for kind of the inside of the jacket. Maybe there's some pocket details here. And we're going to leave it just like that for now. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of pencil shading. So I want to kind of deepen shadow areas in the center here. This is going to be some darker fur. And this is not a necessary step, but one that'll make your work look a little bit more kind of dimensional, and that it has form. I want to add some darker fur around here. And what I'm doing here is just adding some fur that's going to be darker, or some shadow areas. So I'm adding some shadow areas along here, so that when I add color, it'll make it a little easier, because this area will already have kind of more of a darker tone to it, or a value. So right under here, I'm going to do that underneath the jacket areas, because we know there's going to be shadow in these areas here. And then along this part will be some darker fur. The middle is going to be kind of much lighter. And just along here on the edges, and the feet will have some darker areas as well. And then back up toward the face here, under here, because we want to give it a little form and shape. So again, that's the reasoning for doing this down toward the center here. Really, this area in the forehead kind of area is going to be where the darker shapes are, or the darker kind of areas are. Right in between the ear here and this inner area, that's a deep kind of area there. So we'll add some shading. This area on the ear is going to be much lighter, and this area is going to be a little darker toward the inside. A deep shadow kind of inside here to indicate the shape of the head. Okay, so now I'm going to take a peach color. So I'm working with the lightest color first, and then going to my darker color. So the inside of the ear is going to be this kind of peach color toward the top. I'm going to add some peach color on the other one, very similar to how I added it to the first ear there. Bring this peach color in and down. I'm going to add this peach color kind of around the eye area slightly toward the bottom. So this is a different kind of coloring. I'm not just adding solid colors as I usually do. I'm showing you more of kind of how to add value and form here. I want to add this peach color in the lightest areas. I'm starting, and then we'll work more toward the darker areas. So I'm going to use a kind of a 3-tone coloring process on this. I'm also leaving some white areas in here in the center where it's very, very highlighted, or very light area. I'm going to go into my second tone, which is going to be a light tan color. And I'm going to start to add the light tan color in the medium value areas. So this will be here, kind of along the center here, where we didn't have the deeper tones. And then along this area here. I'm going to fill in the hands in this color, this light tan color. And also the feet. This light tan color seems to be working pretty closely to the actual color of Peter Rabbit, so I'm actually just going to open the marker up to the broader side and just really fill in the whole shape here. What I'm going to do is come back and add the darker tones with a bit of a darker brown color, and then we'll finish up the work. We're also going to add a really cool blue tone to the jacket, which will really make the whole drawing start to pop out and add the color to it. Now let's get into this darker brown color, which is a light umber. So if you're working with a crayon, one of my favorite mediums to work with, you can really differentiate the browns. First of all, if you have different browns, so if you have a light brown and then a darker brown. Also, another way to differentiate the colors with crayons is very easily just to lighten up the pressure. So if you want to add a darker area, just layer it or go over it a second or even a third time. For an area that's super light, just really go very soft with your pressure, and that'll just automatically create a light area for the browns. Markers are a little different in that sense, where you have to either have different tones of the marker, because you can't really vary the actual pressure of the marker color. I just do really like working in markers because they create such a true value and tone. Okay, so I'm just filling in some darker areas here and there, just to give it some variation and some different color and form. Okay, I'm going to add that blue color I was talking about to the jacket area. I'm kind of going around all those little detail lines that I had. I'm not just coloring over everything. I don't want those black areas or those black detail lines to start running or smudging here. So we want to leave them nice and neat and clean. And then these larger areas, I can kind of make a broader stroke there to fill them in. Just about ready to finish up here. I just want to add some whiskers for our last touch. So I'm going to kind of start to work here and just pull out some lines. And then I'm going to do that on the opposite side as well. So there's just some quick lines here to create some really thin whisker lines here. And that is going to conclude our drawing for Peter Rabbit. Just kind of putting some more deeper shadows underneath the arms here, underneath the face or the head shape in this area. And here, let's just deepen up the shadow in here. Okay, I hope you guys really enjoyed this drawing of Peter Rabbit, and have a great rest of your day. Give it a try, it's so much fun, and see you guys next time. Bye.